Hey guys, it's Rick and I'm back for another Walt Presents, and this time we're looking at 101 Dalmatians, which is a pretty solid film. Of course, I've got all my notes here. This came out on January 25th of 1961. It's the 17th animated film released from Walt Disney. It was based on a book named by Dowdy Smith. It was brought to the attention of Walt Disney in 1957, and rights were purchased for $25,000. The script was put together by Bill Pete, which was the only person writing on it, which was a very unusual task during that day. He streamlined the story and expanded a few characters. For example, Cruella had a cat and a husband in the book. You never see those characters mentioned in the animated film. He also combined a couple of dogs into one character. Apparently there were two mother dogs in the original story. Walt was always present at story meetings, but this film he was the most least involved, as Sleeping Beauty was a huge failure. It pretty much had killed his love for animation. And that Sleeping Beauty's failure had almost shut down their entire animation department. So that was a huge loss for them. He just really sucked his soul dry. The film used a new Xerox process to help save time and money animating the film, which would help on costs. Having a little, for example, like the spots on the dogs, have an animator going in and inking all that. You could Xerox that all onto the cell. He wasn't really happy about that process. Walt didn't care for it. Says he took the fantasy out of it, and or taking the fantasy out of his films, and he just felt it felt cheap. Live action references were used again. They used actors with deep voices for all the dogs to have their human so they stand out against their human owners, so they have more power. Decent cast. You had Rod Taylor as Pongo, the lead dog, which Rod Taylor was. You would know him from movies like The Birds, The Time Machine. Great actor. Bailey Garrison was Cruella de Vil. Kay Bauer is Perdite, which was the mother dog of the film. Cruella de Vil, of course, was going to be one of the most famous villains who down the road would end up with their own movie. Now, unlike Sleeping Beauty, 101 Dalmatians was really well received. Critics didn't mind it. It did decent with critics, but it grossed $14 million domestically, 8th highest grossing film of the year. And so that led to multiple re-releases in 69, 79, 85, and 91 for a worldwide gross of $303 million. Adjusted for inflation, comes out to about $900 million. It was released on home video on April 10th of 92, which I think is kind of a really late release for a Disney film. But it sold 11.1 million copies. It was the 6th best-selling video of all time, and it went on to many DVD and Blu-ray releases. It looks like every time Walt did a dog movie, it ended up doing well, at least early on. You had Lady and the Tramp that did well for him, and then this. And I think this renewed a little bit of fate. And Walt, I mean, he was really discouraged when Sleeping Beauty was a failure. But the problem with that is he just wasn't involved like he should have been. If he was more involved, that may have never failed. This, he was almost completely hands-off just in storyboard meetings. But it ended up finding success. I mean, I think there were good characters that people just enjoyed. Down the road, you would have 102 Dalmatians, which was a straight-to-video release, a couple live-action movies with Glenn Close, and Cruella, of course, got her own film as well. Which why the villains need films, I don't know, because that film's like the origin of Cruella de Vil. But it has its following. 101 Dalmatians, I mean, I didn't mind it. For what it was, I thought it was better than Sleeping Beauty. So yeah, I'll agree on that. It was a pretty good film. So, and the family enjoyed it. So I'm proud of that. Next up, we're going to the 18th film, Sword in the Stone. All right, that's all I got for this week. Take care. Go watch a movie.